Hey, how's it going? Are you all ready for me to talk to you about all the anticipated releases I have for 2023? There's a few of them. There's like around 20, just under 22 under 20 anticipated releases that I have for 2023. I should actually really say there's 17 because this first one I'm going to talk to you about is already released, which confuses the absolute heck out of me because I swear it had said that this book, which is Saint by Adrian Young, I swear this had said it was going to be released on the 10th of January in 2023. It's already released, December 16. December 16 was when it said it was released, it was published. That's December this year. That's already come and gone, haven't read it yet. It is a prequel to the Fable duology. If you've read the duology, you know that Saint is Fable's father. So this is basically his story, how he became Saint, and his life, I guess you could say. I was going to say trials and tribulations, but I know it's about his life and how he became Saint and how he became this really massive figure, this legend in the seas. Then another one is released on January 10th of 2023, and that is Such a Pretty Smile by Christy DeMeester. This is a thriller, I believe, a thriller horror book, and it follows girls as they are being killed by the Cur, and the Cur murders these girls on the verge of becoming women, who were known as troublemakers, those who refuse to conform, to know their place, girls who don't know when to shut up. Sounds like it has a lot of social injustice that some women face. Very curious to read it. It's coming out very, very soon. Then on the 12th of January, we have Now She is Witch by Kirsty Logan, not Christy, Kirsty Logan. A world of violence and beauty where women grasp a power through witchcraft, sexuality, and performance, and most of all through throwing each other to the wolves. Lux and Elsie find each other. Lux has lost everything and knows about poisons, and Elsie, with the help of Lux, vows to seek revenge on the man who wronged her, and on their hunt they uncover dangerous secrets that entangle them with dangerous adversaries. The Drift by CJ Tudor, 19th of January. I'll be putting everything down, like literally just dropping everything to read this book. When I was doing my research, I didn't want to know too much about this book, so what I have written here is an overturned coach, a stranded cable car, an isolated chalet, 3 groups of strangers, a deadly killer, no escape. And I did read the synopsis of the book, and I believe, yeah, it's these group of people. There's a killer amongst these 3 groups of people. Very curious, very hyped, very excited for this book. Heartstopper Volume 5 will finally be released this year on the 2nd of February, if I am correct. And if it will, because it was meant to come out last year, around October, I think? No, not October. Sometime last year, just never happened. And I'm really, really excited for this. This is the last one in the Heartstopper series. Follows Nick and Charlie. Don't ask me which one's which, but one of them is gay. One of them doesn't realize he could be bisexual. They become friends throughout their... is it last year of high school or something? They become friends, then they start to become lovers, and the last 2 volumes, 3 and 4, does have mental health representation in it, and I think it was done very well. I wouldn't know, but I think it was handled quite well, and I just love it. I love this series a lot. Another book on the 2nd of February, Someone Else's Shoes by Jojo Moyes. Nisha Kendall lives an incredibly wealthy life. Her husband divorces her and cuts her off. She scrambles to hold on to her glamorously wealthy lifestyle, and she is scrambling to cope, and she doesn't have the shoes that she was just standing in. Then there is Sam Kemp, in the bleakest point in her life and who was struggling to keep her family afloat. Sam has accidentally taken Nisha's gym bag, and when she tries on Nisha's 6-inch heels, the resulting bolt of confidence that makes her realize something must change, and that thing is herself. On the 14th of March of 2023, Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello, the author of Summer Sons. Dr. Sean Cal Luden, or Ludden, is a scientist, and she is researching what it is like to be in the mind of one of the last remaining wild wolves through a neurological interface to translate her animal subject's perception through her own mind. Sean's tireless research gives her a chance to fulfill that dream, but pursuing it has a terrible cost. Her obsession with work endangers her fraying relationship with her wife. Oh, it's sapphic. Her research methods threaten her mind and body, and the attention of her VC funders could destroy her subject, the beautiful wild wolf whose mental world she's invading. Sounds like it's going to be like leave nature alone kind of thing. It is a short book, so I'm hoping to pick it up and just breeze through it pretty quickly. 28th of March. Oh my god, I got a cramp. 28th of March. We have A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. I have not read a T. Kingfisher book yet. I'm hoping to very soon, sometime in the new year. Keep an eye out for that video. A haunted house story of sorts. Sam goes to visit her mother and brother, and it becomes an extended visit when her brother tells her that something is wrong with their mother. Her mother is jumpy and gets frightened at every sound in the house, which is very white and sterile and has lost all of its warmth that Sam has known the house to be. Teeth in a jar behind a rose bush in the garden and vultures circling the garden from above. Those are the points and those are the sentences that I could pick out that just really grabbed my attention. Teeth in a jar behind a rose bush in the garden and vultures are just swirling around it. Color me intrigued. The Book Binder of Jericho by Pip Williams. This is also coming out on the 28th of March. Definitely a book I am anticipating incredibly. This is the author of the Dictionary of Lost Words, which was one of the best books I've ever read and one of my favorite books. I think I have to reread it to confirm that, but it definitely has a favorite book potential. I just loved it so much. Lost Dictionary was following about these people that were creating the very first Oxford English Dictionary, so it does have a historical fiction element into it, and just the detail that the author went through, and it was just really, really good. And I believe this one also follows something to do in Oxford. Something in Oxford, I don't really know. I'm very curious and excited to find out though. On the 2nd of May, we have The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. This is the author of the Passage Trilogy, a series I have read, but because it had been so long in between publication dates between each book in that series, I have forgotten quite a bit in that series, and I just kept telling myself I really want this author to write more books. He has. This one is on the utopian archipelago of Prospera. Rules are rules. Citizens live in paradise until health sensors embedded in the flesh drop below 10%. Then it's off on a ferry ride to the island known as the Nursery, where renewal and rejuvenation are promised. But one particular ferryman, the main protagonist of the story, makes some unpleasant discoveries. I love this author's writing. The amount of detail that he puts into it is just amazing. From what I can remember from reading his past books, very excited to be reading this one. And I think it's shorter than his other books too. His other books are like nearly around the 1,000 page mark, and I'm excited for something to be a little bit shorter. Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. This is coming out on the 9th of May of 2023, but it has already been published in the US, but not here in Australia. Rory Morris moves back to her hometown temporarily to help out her twin sister who needs support, and she is pregnant and estranged from the baby's father. After a night out at the bar, she hits an animal with her car. She steps out to investigate and is attacked. She survives, but starts to feel quite different, and it is a werewolf novel. On the 18th of July, we have Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. A fabulous meld of Mexican horror movies and Nazi occultism. A dark thriller about the curse that haunts a legendary lost film and awakens one woman's hidden powers. And that is all I want to know. I don't want to know too much about it. The Deep Sky by Yumi Kitase. I'm hoping I'm saying that name correctly. On the 18th of July. And it is an enthralling sci-fi thriller debut about a mission into deep space that begins with a lethal explosion that leaves the survivors questioning the loyalty of the crew. This year is going to be a good year for any people who love the Blood and Ash and the Not a Song of Ice and Fire, A Shadow in the Ember trilogy or series fans like myself. It's a good year for us people because we have book 4.5, then 5, then number 6, which I found on Goodreads but not anywhere else. I don't know when the 6th one will be. A Soul of Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout is book 5 in the Blood and Ash series, and it recounts the first book in the Blood and Ash series but from Hawke's point of view. A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman. 27th of July this one comes out. You're probably thinking, this one's already come out. In the US it has, but not in Australia. I don't know if someone has picked up Josh Malerman for like traditional publishing or something like that, but I've noticed a lot of his books that came out in the US are now starting to come out in Australia. I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't know if like a publisher picked him up properly. I don't know, but A House at the Bottom of the Lake I've heard pretty good things about. Okay, so let me just read it to you because it's a pretty short synopsis, short plot. Both 17, both afraid, but both saying yes. It sounded like the perfect first date, canoeing across a chain of lakes, sandwiches and beer in the cooler. But teenagers Emily and James discover something below the water's surface that changes their lives forever. It's got 2 stories, a garden, and the front door is open. It's a house at the bottom of the lake. For the teens, there is only one rule: no questions. And yet, how could a place so spectacular come with no price tag? While the duo plays house beneath the waves, one reality remains. Just because a house is empty doesn't mean nobody's home. It's a short book again. Sounds really, really good. I'm excited to read this one. Now, this one, I'm a little confused about. It's Sticky Fingers 7 by J.T. Lawrence. This one is coming out on the 1st of August. I know it's coming out in August, and I think this one is already released in America. I think it's like is it like a short story collection? I don't know with this one. I'm confused, but it sounds good, and I guess I'll know more as it gets closer to the release date. Then we have Visions of Flesh and Fire, which is technically 4.5, not book 6 in the From Blood and Ash series. It is a compendium, and there are short stories, maps, deleted scenes, I believe, and it is told from Miss Willa's journal, so we will most likely be getting footnotes as well. More stories, more world building, more from this world, more from the series that I do genuinely love a lot. For a book that is coming out in December 12, that I believe is even better than the Blood and Ash series, it is the 3rd book in the Flesh and Fire series, and it is called A Fire in the Flesh. I don't need to know anymore. It is coming out on the 12th of December. I don't need to know anymore. All I know is that it is the 3rd one in the series, and I am a hella hyped. That's it. That's all. One thing I do need to say to myself is that I do need to be better at writing shorter notes, because I don't want to have to be reading out the whole synopsis. So apologies for me just staring down here at my laptop. I'm really, really sorry about that. But that is it. I don't know if there'll be a part 2. I'll see. I'm hoping to do a part 2 in this one. So this is like part 1 question mark for now. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed. Do any of these sound interesting to you? What are your anticipated releases for 2023? I would really like to know. See you later.